Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Church of Violence. God bless you and thank you for attending. I remind you, Nigeria will be great in our lifetime. Nigeria will not be great when we are old. Nigeria will not be great for our children. We are not fighting for this Nigeria to be great so that two generations will enjoy it. No. It is very possible with modern technology, with the resources Nigeria has, and with what Nigerians are capable of bringing to the table to change this country in 8 years. So, Muhammadu Buhari, a man, let me remind you that Muhammadu Buhari is the only Nigerian military man we had attained democracy as at 1980. We were a democratic nation as at 1982 under Shehu Shagari. Muhammadu Buhari, as a military man, came in, used the gun and his fellow military friends, committed a coup in this country, chased away democracy in the early 1980s and ruled us then. He did a shoddy job. He was the worst military president. Buhari was such a disaster as a military president that the Nigerian military, this same thing he's doing currently, he was doing it as a young man. Buhari will leave the country burning, enter the national plane, and fly off to countries he had never been to. That's all he was doing as president. And the major work in Nigeria was actually being done by Idi Agbon. Everybody knows this. It was so bad that when Buhari was overseas, I think on a Hajj mission, the military took over from the military. Not one gunshot was shot. It was a unanimous decision that this man was so awful at governance. It was better the military saved itself. Now, this same Buhari, when he was kicked out, Nigeria went through torture till 1999. Let me remind you of your political history, where by the grace of God, the military ruler at the time, Sani Abacha, a man who wanted to be life president and was planning to actually do this democratically, died under mysterious circumstances. We then got democracy in 1999. Muhammadu Buhari ran for president of Nigeria for 12 years, 3 democratic election cycles every 4 years. If you didn't know better that time, you would have thought that, oh, this man had learned a lot from when he had been president under the military. He had perfected himself. He had probably gone and learned a few things. Buhari, all those 12 years, was actively condemning the government in power, speaking English that even those of us who had researched him were suspicious that these things, Buhari had been prepped. Buhari would talk on issues in the oil and gas industry where the PDP government was failing at the time. Buhari would give bright ideas on security and how to secure the nation where the PDP was failing at the time. Buhari had all the ideas on how to fight corruption, especially where the PDP was failing at the time. So I don't blame Nigerians who voted for Buhari in 2015 when a man for 12 years kept fighting to be president and talking like he knew what he was doing. It was okay to say, hey, let's try this fellow. It turned out to be lies. Muhammadu Buhari was a liar. He was corrupt. He was a criminal. He was a thief. He had zero plans for Nigeria. He had no plans for Nigeria's unity. He had all the brilliant ideas he spoke about before he came into government. He did not implement one. Please bear this in mind. It is worthy of record. Muhammadu Buhari knows what to do, or at least what to attempt to do, to solve insecurity, the economic issues, the lack of production, but he on purpose has not done any of these things in an 8 year cycle. At the end of the 8 years, Muhammadu Buhari had the guts, the effrontery, the audacity to talk to Nigerians and tell us to just forgive him and forget about it. I might have wronged some of you. Speaking like he wasn't being warned every day while taking all of these actions. Nigeria added one new terrorist group, IPOB, to the list of top 10 terrorist groups in the country. Boko Haram and ISWAP, that had been contained in only the northeast region under the 16 years of PDP, of which they started their agitation politically, manufactured agitation, let's say 3 years before 2015. They ramped it up. We are here now. Remember, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan picked up his phone and called Muhammadu Buhari and literally handed over the presidency of Nigeria to him before votes had even been counted. Real Everbest always says this: the APC has never won an election in the political history of this country, and I veto that statement. The APC had sworn to create a parallel government if Goodluck Jonathan had won the election. The APC, according to rumors spread by APC members themselves, had enlisted the help of herdsmen, enlisted the help of militias from outside Nigeria to turn up the violence in the country if Buhari did not win the 2015 elections. The APC had put treasonable levels of pressure upon the Jonathan government, all because Jonathan was a gentleman who played by democratic rules and principles. But today, several statements attributed to top members of the APC down to the current vice president are clean and clear treasonable statements that the APC will not even tolerate today to be said by rival political parties. I promise you, if Atiku Abubakar says today, or Peter Obi says today, that we will create a parallel government, if the Supreme Court does not give us back our mandate, the APC will arrest every single person involved. But they, on record, made this same statement in 2015. Buhari's 8 years have been 8 years of woe, 8 years of suffering, 8 years of indifference, 8 years of wickedness, 8 years of absolute madness, 8 years of raping the Nigerian economy, 8 years of lies, 8 years of gaslighting, 8 years of absolute irresponsibility with power, 8 years of travesty, 8 years of murder, massacre, and mayhem. I'll give you Buhari's scorecard, but we would be here and I would use 4 hours to make that submission. So let us start here. Follow me to the book of Google. A quick Google search will show you one page. This page is from thecable.ng. Now, what is funny about this post I'm going to send to you to read now is that this post came out in 2019. It came out in 2019. But as of 2019, there is a post titled 62 Failed 2015 Election Campaign Promises of Muhammadu Buhari and the APC. As at 2019, Buhari had failed on 62 promises he made to Nigerians as at 2015. A few of those failed promises, remember, this is 2019. A few of those failed promises include Buhari promised to ban all government officials from going abroad for medical treatments. He did not do anything on this issue. Matter of fact, when he first got into power, he disappeared for 6 months while conducting medical transplants in the UK. It took Nigerians going to the official Nigerian president's lodge in UK to protest. A protest that was engineered, promoted, pushed, and frontlined by Reno Omokiri, who now supports the APC and is fighting Peter Obi in 2015. That is one. Second promise. Buhari promised states and community police. He did not do this. Matter of fact, he further emboldened the Nigerian police in their effrontery and audacity for wickedness to the point that Nigerians protested for the first time in our history against the police in NSAS. Promise failed number 3. Buhari promised that public declaration of assets and liabilities will be done by all public officials. Till today, Buhari never published his assets, his liabilities, and neither did anybody in the APC from governor down to the lowest member of elective office. Number 4, Buhari promised to introduce a gender policy where he would offer 35% of his appointments to women. But Buhari reneged on this promise from day one. Out of 36 ministers that he used in forming his cabinet, Buhari named only 6 women. 6 is definitely not 35% of 36. He only named 6 women as ministers. But by 2015, he named these women as ministers in 2015. But Kemi Adeosun was forced to exit because she used a fake NYSC discharge certificate. And another of his ministers, Amina Al-Hassan, left her ministerial position to contest elections in Taraba State. Buhari did not replace those 2 women with two women. He replaced them with 2 men and scaled his ministers down to 4 women out of 36. Number 5. Buhari promised to create 3 million jobs per year. On the contrary, he pushed 20.9 million Nigerians into poverty in the 3rd quarter of 2018. Number 6, Buhari promised to revive Ajaokuta Steel Company. 8 years later, that company has not put out 1 ounce of steel. Number 7, Buhari promised to create a social welfare program where a minimum of 5,000 naira will be paid to 25 million of Nigeria's poorest and most vulnerable citizens. He never implemented that program. Rather, a sham version of that program, which was actually vote buying, was conducted by the current Vice President Oshibanjo, where he shared 5,000 naira to market people a few weeks to the 2019 elections. Buhari promised to build one of the fastest growing emerging economies in the world with a real GDP growth averaging 10%. He failed in this one and plunged Nigeria into 3 recessions and literally bankrupted the nation to the point that we currently owe 77 trillion naira in debt. Number 9, Buhari promised the generation, transmission, and distribution of at least 20,000 megawatts of electricity within 4 years and 50,000 megawatts of electricity within 8 to 10 years. As I speak to you, Nigeria is barely operating at 3,000 megawatts for a country with 220 million people. At number 10, Buhari promised an empowerment scheme to employ 740,000 graduates across the 36 states every year. That scheme is an absolute failure. Today, it's not even spoken about. And these are just 10 out of 62 failed promises of Muhammadu Buhari as at 2019. I would also remind you that it is worthy of note that Nigeria's situation got so bad that in the year 2016, a Japanese surgeon paid 390,000 United States dollars to the Nigerian football team for them to be able to travel to the Rio Olympics. The Japanese surgeon who gifted the Nigerian Olympic football team nearly $400,000 said that he would have still have given them the money even if they did not win a medal. If you wonder how people like Jeffrey Gutterman love Nigeria so much, I want to make you understand that a surgeon in Japan that we had never heard about was such a huge fan of the Nigerian football team that he read that we could not, as a nation, afford to send our team for the competition, and he sent them 400.
APC don't rub shit for our face.
Hold on.
God.
The Japanese surgeon's name is Kazuya Takasu, and I'm reading live from CNN. He said he was so taken with the spirit of the Nigerian side that he had already planned to give each player and delegate $10,000 even if they failed to win a medal in Rio. This was how much he had always loved Nigeria, the Nigerian football team, and Nigerian footballers in general. He told CNN, "I didn't tell anybody. I did not want to diminish their morale, and I told them if I told them you have to win." Takasu said he wept after Nigeria could not make it. The plastic surgeon said he was impressed by our resilience despite being stranded at the airport in Atlanta due to inadequate transport operations. The Nigerian team, due to the help of this surgeon and his $390,000, managed to arrive in Rio just 7 hours before their opening match in Japan, which they won 5-4, which the surgeon said drove him to tears. After the players received their medals, Takasu presented 2 checks amounting to $390,000 to the coach and to the captain Samson Siasia and Mikel John Obi. I've always wanted to help people who are bravely trying their best without any support. Now, Takasu took to Twitter to promise he would reward the Nigerian team after hearing about our payment woes under the APC administration, said CNN. Nigeria's coach Siasia at the time was owed 5 months' salary, and the players threatened not to take part in the quarterfinals after wranglings over allowances with the Nigerian government and the Nigerian Football Federation. The surgeon was pushed to declare his support for the team and promised to give them $200,000 plus an extra $30,000 bonus to each player if they managed to win gold. The surgeon, who has been president of Japan's Society of Liposurgery, the surgeon had been president of Japan's Society of Liposuction Surgery since 1987, is known for his philanthropic acts. And this act stretched towards Nigeria. I would add a photo of his letter to the Nigerian government. Matter of fact, go to the Jumbotron right now. I managed to find oh, I love my personal assistant. I just posted the post from 2016 where the Japanese doctor Kasuya Takasu wrote, "To whom it may concern, I'm directed to certify that Dr. Kasuya Takasu, holder of Japanese standard passport number this is well known to the embassy and a supporter of the Nigerian national football team. Dr. Takasu is traveling to watch the bronze medal match between the Nigerian Olympic football team and the Honduras national team scheduled to hold on 20th August in Belo Horizonte, Brazil. He will make the following donations in check to the Nigerian team in Brazil as reward for his performance. Mr. Samson Siasia, team coach, $200,000. Mr. John Mikel Nchekube Obinna, team captain, $190,000. Kindly therefore accord to him any necessary assistance. Warm regards." That post, I dug it up from 2016. You see, numbers have no emotions. Facts don't lie. That was how low the APC took the Nigerian
go on that
team.
post and you go see APC boys. The way they beg for money for you. Go on that post. You will see them. They say that they will go there, they beg now. They beg bon account.
So,
you cannot dwell with these people. But God.
So, Saddam, when you brought up that story, I just wanted to tell you how low that story was. You know, you just touched on it. I just wanted to show you how bad things felt. And remember, Buhari got into government in 2015. This was 2016. Please remember, a man who ran for government 12 years, who made all the promises, who was promoted by Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Atiku Abubakar of the PDP. Do not forget why you are obedient and why you support Peter Obi. Do not forget the people who lied to you, who Nigerians rejected Buhari at the polls. Buhari never got more than 3 million votes till when he got 11 million under the APC scam in 2015. He never got more than 3 million votes in any election. Please go and verify. We knew he was bad news for 3 election cycles. 3. Until one of the 2 men we respected in this country, a former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and former Governor of Lagos State Bola Ahmed Tinubu, went on a rampage for over 3 years against the Jonathan administration. Lies, propaganda, and outright physical violence till Nigerians caved in and said, let us see. But by 2016, in the sports industry alone, a random Japanese surgeon of liposuction was paying $390,000, and the Nigerian football team landed at that competition 7 hours before their match. They won the match 5-4 and won the bronze medal. So, let me go back into history because I need to remind you people about the failures of Muhammadu Buhari. When Muhammadu Buhari got into office, Sahara Reporters, 2017, December 31st, some Nigerians expressed outrage over the inclusion of no fewer than 8 dead Nigerians on the list of appointments into the governing boards of agencies and parastatals, describing the gaffe as a reflection of how the APC-led government would administer the country. This was 2 years into Buhari's tenure. Buhari finally created a list of ministers, and there were 8 dead names on it. If you want to laugh with me, let me laugh with you. The person who brought this story up was a man who was the former Minister of Aviation called Femi Fani-Kayode. Number of dead persons appointed by Nigeria's President Buhari into boards of government agencies increases to 8 names. Google this yourself, Sahara Reporters from 2017. A former Minister of Aviation, Femi Fani-Kayode, queried the rationale behind this error. Femi Fani-Kayode told Nigerians to push Buhari and ask him, you just appointed a man called Donald Ubaja as a member of the Consumer Protection Council. You also appointed another man called Chris Utovas as a member of the Nigerian Institute of Social and Economic Research. What is it with you, Buhari, and the dead? Is it some type of fetish, or is it a manifestation of your love and practice for cospocracy? Cospocracy is having sex with dead people. Femi Fani-Kayode queried Muhammadu Buhari. In 2017, the person who echoed this same sentiment with Femi Fani-Kayode is a man called Kayode Ogundamisi, who today has blocked me on Twitter because I presented to him that why are you supporting Buhari now when you, as at 2015 to 2017, are on verified facts, pointing out the flaws of Buhari and why he was dangerous for the Nigerian people. Kayode Ogundamisi even went further to show us the exact
That's the
list.
former secretary of OPC.
Thank you.
When they killed people in this thing,
When they killed Northerners in Lagos, my brother.
Yeah, he was the person.
When they murdered and massacred Northerners in Lagos. No fewer than...
He now ran on exile.
He ran exile and then fought the APC, then supported APC. Kayode Ogundamisi gave me the list. Muhammadu Buhari's appointment death toll list rises again. Buhari appointed the following names into his first list. This is a man who ran for president for 12 years and who came in under Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Atiku Abubakar. The list of 36 ministers he gave Nigeria had 8 dead names in it, namely Senator Francis Okpozo, rest in peace with all due respect, Reverend Father Christopher Utov, dead, DIG Donald Ubaja, retired, was late as at 2017. Buhari also appointed Garba Atahiru, who was late at the time, Umaru Dange, Magdalene Kumu, Dr. Nabs Imegu, and Comrade Ahmed Bunza. These people were all deceased as at 2017. Kayode Ogundamisi, who now speaks, eats, dines, and is ready to die by the APC and Buhari administration, brought these names and collated them for our viewing pleasure. He also went ahead to ask, as at December 31st, 2017, will somebody get sacked, Buhari? Will you review the lists? Please understand how bad things had gotten as at 1 year into Buhari's entrance into government. That's how bad things had gotten. Buhari also promised the creation of an additional middle class of at least 2 million new homeowners in his first year in government, and promised to add 1 million Nigerians to the middle class annually. He got F9 on this one because instead of creating an additional middle class, the Buhari slipped almost 100 million Nigerians into poverty to an extent that Nigeria, who has 200 million people, overtook India that has 1.5 billion people in the poorest of the poor index. The world had to create a brand new term of poverty for Nigeria called multi-dimensional poverty under the Buhari administration. As at number 15, Buhari promised to create a National Conflict Resolution Commission to prevent, mitigate, and resolve civil conflicts within the polity. He failed to do this. Rather, he caused more conflicts in every region of Nigeria as we speak. Buhari promised to establish a national mortgage system to lend funds to Nigerians and small-scale business. That plan never saw the light of day from the CBN. Buhari promised to create a national infrastructure development bank to provide loans. F9. That never happened. The last time they spoke about it was in May of 2018. Buhari also promised to raise life expectancy level by an additional 10 years. There is no indication that life expectancy improved in Nigeria. Matter of fact, more people have died by poverty, hunger, and poor healthcare delivery in Nigeria. Look, we can choose to deceive ourselves. You can see them trying to gaslight the Buhari administration. He built a bridge in the East in 8 years, but gave us a terrorist group in the top 10 terrorist groups in the world. I'd rather he didn't build a bridge and gave us peace. Look, Nigerians, I love you all. I will come back to Festus Keyamo and the LP petitions. This is my rating of the Buhari administration. F9, failure, 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 failure in every aspect of governance, from the economy to security to unity of Nigerians across ethnic and religious divides, to the military, to the oil and gas industry, where he has reigned supreme as the Minister of Petroleum for 8 years, yet we did not build any refineries. We did not turn around and maintain any refineries. The Dangote refinery was not finished in Lagos, and we're still dancing around in circles. He had all the answers before he got into governance, but did not implement one. Go to Google and check for yourself. There are 62 failed campaign promises of Muhammadu Buhari as at 2019. As at 2019, Buhari had failed in 62. And you tell
Is it me?
me, and you tell me that Nigerians voted APC through all of this while going through a monetary crisis and a fuel dilemma, with the APC infighting amongst each other. You and I know that election was rigged, and we'll get our mandate back legally because we won it in a landslide. Thank you for listening to my lengthy rant. God bless you all. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. A drug baron with no history, who lied about all his academic qualifications, who has no verifiable history, but the only history he has is a history of drug dealing and state capture, will never be president of Nigeria, because